What's up, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Football Endgame Live Game Day Edition. We are live, right, Chris? I've been told we're live.
We had some technical difficulties this morning. We are not live, but I can assure you we'll be live next week, I think.
All right, but you're gonna upload this like right away. It's basically live. I mean, it's as almost as live as you can get.
It is 11:17 a.m. Eastern time. It's pretty close to it. It's as live as you can get without being live.
There you go. So the idea here is going forward, we will be live, but we're practically live. The point is it's game day, right? Games are going to kick off in less than an hour, 2 hours. And we're going to give you some of the latest information as far as injuries and start sit. I know we did start sit for each position. If you haven't watched those videos, do it now. It's not too late because you still have time to make those adjustments in your lineup. Okay, we did one for every position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Still no kickers. And of course, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Do it now because you want the latest information each and every week. And here's where to get it. It's the end game. All right, but let's talk about last minute injury decisions here. Some guys, major names. I mean, you thought there was a lot of names last week, guys getting injured. There's even more now. Maybe not serious injuries, but some guys are going to miss, it looks like, week 3. So Chris, let's start with some good news. Should we start with the good news, guys that are in first?
Yeah, I'll start with the good news.
All right. Looks like the Raiders that we were maybe kind of on the bubble, guys that you would definitely be starting. Looks like they're in. So Josh Jacobs is in, Darren Waller is in. And then I don't think there was a big question mark there, but you see Steelers wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson were both been kind of questionable throughout the week, but I don't think it was a big deal. Juju had missed practice Wednesday. He had missed practice Wednesday the week before. Juju is also in. I never took these guys out of my lineup, though, Chris. Were you ever worried too much about them?
No, if you got these guys there in your lineup, you're playing them today. No worry. Full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead. Okay, the opposite goes for some obvious names here. Now, here are guys that you already knew were out. At least you should have been smart enough to keep them out of your lineup all week because there's no reason to think Michael Thomas is going to play with a high ankle sprain. No surprise, he's out. All right. I guess Traquan Smith still looks like a viable option. I'm still not there on the trust factor with him, but hey, everybody's different. A.J. Brown is out, and it looks like that bone bruise on his knees is more serious than they thought. So another player that probably was your wide receiver too, I'm going to have to keep him out. Corey Davis. Yes, Corey Davis is still a good start. Okay, play him for sure in this matchup. And then George Kittle out again. Starting to get a little nervous if you spent a very early pick on him, which you probably did. Second round, maybe late first if you're in a tight end premium league. He's out. So, Chris, fire up Jordan Reed, right?
Yeah, if you picked up Jordan Reed last week because you didn't have Kittle, feel free to roll him out again. He looks like a great play.
Not just saying that as a Washington fan, a former Jordan Reed stan. Is that right? You have a Jordan Reed jersey somewhere?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a stan, but sure. I mean, I'm happy for the guy that he's still playing, and hopefully he stays healthy. That's the most important thing for him.
I just wanted to find a way to work that word in. I guess that's more of an NBA thing, but still, it applies. All right. I'm coming around. Play Jordan Reed if you got him, especially if you are the Kittle owner who had Reed. You had to pick him up. Actually might do pretty well in this matchup too. Kenny Golladay, thankfully, is in. Have him on like 90% of my team, so pretty thankful there. And we did talk about this on the wide receiver episode for start sit. Marvin Jones, that doesn't mean he's an automatic sit just because Galladay's playing, right?
No, I like Marvin Jones. I like him more with Golladay, honestly. I think this game's going to be a shootout. It's got a super high over-under, so I like the entire Detroit passing attack. I like Stafford. I like Jones. You got to play Golladay if you have him. The reports were he had a good week of practice, but it is his first game coming off a hamstring injury. So there is some risk that he has a limited snap count. But I think if you've got Golladay, you got to put him in your lineup and hope for the best.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Golladay is playing, and that's official. And this game could be high scoring, but even though you have him, you have to start Golladay. You kind of have to temper expectations, right? It doesn't mean that he'll necessarily catch 10 balls right away, although he could, given the way that they run through this passing game. But Galladay's in. Now, here's the tough news. Guys that you thought were immune to the injury bug so far this year, not so fast. Devontae Adams, who is likely the number 2 receiver drafted in almost every fantasy football league, doubtful, officially doubtful. Looks like he's probably not going to go, but of course, just to make things more complicated for us, instead of ruling him out, it's going to be one of those we love game time decisions, right? This is an actual game time decision. Like they're going to wait until right before kickoff and tell you. So to me, this is a no-brainer. You can't keep him in your lineup, right?
Yeah, the problem here is that they play Sunday night. They play tonight. So if unless you have like Lazard or MVS, or you have a better option, or not, I wouldn't say a better option, but you have a good option for the Monday night game, you can't risk leaving him in your lineup and then finding out, right before kickoff that he's out. And then you have to throw in some, crappy wide receiver 5 that's sitting on your bench because you waited too long. So yeah, unless you feel good about pivoting to Lazard or MVS, or you have a Monday night option that you feel good about, you have to have him out of your lineup. They did say it's going to be he wants to play. They're going to test him before the game. It's trending towards him not playing. So I'd rather just put him on my bench, put a better option in now. If he plays, oh, well, what can you do? But you can't run the risk of him being out and then you having to put in somebody who gets, no playing time and gives you a 0.
Yeah, and then this next player we're going to talk about, it's the same thing. They're just going to be right up until game time. And yeah, you'd think if he plays, no-brainer, but what is he going to do? Honestly, even if he does play, if it's really that close, whether he should go or not go, how effective is he going to be realistically, right? Is he going to have a typical Devontae Adams monster game? Probably not. And he could even be out there as a decoy, right? So here's the thing too. I don't get this. A lot of people say, oh, well, it's good because it's a later kickoff, right? It's like a night game or it's a Monday game. So that means you have more time. No, that's worse. Like to me, if there's a guy who's truly questionable, I want to know as soon as possible, because chances are the guys that you have on your bench, your 4th, 5th, 6th receiver that you might have to plug in instead, or a flex player or whatever, they're not going to be playing Sunday night or Monday night, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, then maybe you have to pick up something. Well, I'm sorry, Lazard is probably gone, right? MVS, maybe he's on the waiver wire. But what if they aren't? What if you're in a really competitive league or a deep league and they aren't? Then who are you picking up? So, I'd rather it be an early game, but it's not. So to me, there's just no chance. Devontae Adams is on my bench if possible. To me, the same thing goes for Julio, right? Julio Jones, although he has shown a history of playing through injuries and being a little bit more effective, but he was not effective last week. And so same thing, they even said they used him as a decoy last week. So if he plays, to me, it's the same thing. I can't trust that he's going to get me enough fantasy points this week, especially Chicago is not an easy defense.
Yeah, Julio's tougher for me. Now the benefit for Julio is they play the 10 o'clock game, so you can wait and see. They're gonna test him out I think they said 90 minutes before kickoff, so you should have plenty of time to know. This is really hard for me because to me it doesn't seem like the Falcons would put him out there just to be a decoy. Like to me, it's either going to be like they feel like Julio can go and he's close enough to 100% and he can be effective, or they're going to be like, nah, just sit this one out. So I mean, at least you have the option of waiting. I think it comes down. The problem with me with sitting Julio is we know his upside is so huge. And we've seen him, like you said, we've seen him play through injury all this time. And even last week when he was a decoy, if he catches that 42-yard touchdown pass, everybody's feeling pretty good about Julio right now. So he has that upside that you're not going to get from guys on your bench or guys on the waiver wire. So I get it. If Julio goes that you want to start him, I totally understand it. But I'm totally okay with benching him too if you feel like the risk is too great and you have another option that you feel strongly about. So I'm kind of on the fence of this one.
Yeah, to me, Julio different than Devontae Adams. We've seen, he has missed several games in a row. Julio is definitely a warrior. I guess for me, the matchup, because number one, Calvin Ridley has kind of shown that he could be the number one receiver. Maybe he is technically the number one receiver right now as far as performance. Russell Gage has stepped up big time, right? They got Hayden Hurst who showed up last week. So I think they have enough weapons. They can get by without Julio or have him out there, but not necessarily target him a ton. And at the same time, I guess it depends on, what you're looking for, floor versus ceiling, because Julio could show up and he could just catch, a couple passes, but he could get a touchdown. You might say, oh, let me roll out McCall Hardman. And then Hardman does nothing like he's done last week. So then you were better off starting Julio. So I guess it just depends what you're looking for. All right, here's what else we're not looking for is any 49ers in our lineup. Jimmy G, of course, we know is out. Raheem Mostert out. Tevin Coleman is out. So basically, we're left with Jerick McKinnon, who we've told you all preseason and during the season to pick up and definitely a start against the Giants. Are you feeling any love for, besides Jordan Reed, of course, Nick Mullins or any of the receivers on this team? Or is this an offense you just kind of want no part of other than McKinnon and I guess Reed, which now that I say that out loud sounds kind of shaky too.
I mean, we've seen Mullins in the past, and we know he has a lot of upside. And this Giants defense is not. It's better than it's been, but it's not great. I wouldn't feel great. Like, you shouldn't need to roll out Mullins in a 1 QB league. If you're in a 2 QB league, I'm okay with him as a QB2 with some upside. I'm okay with him as a DFS play with some upside, but outside of that, no.
Yeah, agree there. I also kind of don't want any part of the Rams backfield without Cam Akers. I'll put the word stand on it. Cam Akers is my guy. But of course, he's going to miss this week. Darrell Henderson showed up last week. Malcolm Brown showed up in week 1. Do you believe either one of them will show up this week?
Yeah, I believe one of them will. I just don't ask me which one. Right? Like, in week 1, everybody was all gaga over Malcolm Brown. Now everybody's all gaga over Darrell Henderson. This just looks like the hot hand approach. I mean, if I had to choose, obviously I'm leaning Darrell Henderson because he did look good last week. But this could easily turn into a Malcolm Brown game. So no, I don't. I agree with you. I don't feel great about either of these guys. Don't want to start them if I don't have to.
And it's going against a tough defense. Both their linebackers are back, so it could just be nobody runs very well in this game for the Rams. And
yeah,
I don't think I would risk it for either one. But you don't want on the other side of the ball now. You might be interested in Devin Singletary because Zach Moss is out. This has been a 2-man committee, which has been really frustrating. But now it's all Singletary. So I think this is a chance where he's going to get enough touches. He should be productive. Are you putting him in your lineup if you have him, which I know that you personally don't?
I don't, but if I did, I would. I'd feel great about it. I feel like the Zach Moss injury kind of gone under the radar here, right? You have Devin Singletary as your running back boom this week for our running back start sit video, which you should go watch after this if you have more questions about running back start sits. But yeah, so I think this only helps Singletary, right? I mean, Zach Moss was getting, the short yardage carries. He was getting the goal line carries. Now, I think this also helps Josh Allen. Not that Josh Allen needs any help right now, because certainly more goal line carries, but definitely it's going to help Singletary. You got to think he's going to get more touches on the ground than he normally gets, and he's already getting plenty of work in the passing game. So, yeah, I really like Devin Singletary this week.
Yeah, I'm not always going to advocate for Singletary, but I think this is the week to do it for sure. Couple more quick hits here. Christian Kirk is out. And I had just been talking about how even though his production was low, his air yards were high, he's probably going to get more involved, and now he's not going to be involved at all. So he's out. Does this just mean that DeAndre Hopkins is going to catch 20 passes this week? Or do you think Larry Fitzgerald, is a guy that you might want to sneak in there? You're looking to replace Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, maybe Julio. Is Fitz a guy that maybe thinking about?
Fitz is okay. I think he'll see a few more targets. If you want the upside and you're willing to take the risk, I think Andy Isabella is worth a flyer. He could inherit a lot of those air yards and a lot of those targets because we know Fitz is gonna get his little short yardage stuff. Hopkins is gonna get what he gets. It seems Isabella is most likely to take over those deep air yard throws. And but he's a huge risk with him. So yeah. But really, I'd rather Hopkins, Kyler Murray, and Kenyon Drake. That's who I want this week out of Arizona.
Yeah, and it may not always be where a guy, the third or the fourth guy steps up. It might just be that the main guys get more love. So, speaking of air yards, Henry Ruggs looks like he is out. Might be disappointing. I mean, we can't see what he's capable of. He's in and out of the lineup. Probably not a player you were putting in your lineup anyways necessarily. But do you think that this hurts even more? Because I believe Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders had to play against the Patriots defense. So to me, this just makes Derek Carr like a complete no-go. Not that I was starting him anyways.
Yeah, and I think it's good news, bad news for Darren Waller. I had Darren Waller as my tight end bust because it just makes it that much easier for the Patriots just to say, okay, we're just gonna take away Darren Waller. But at the same time, Derek Carr will probably feed him 20 targets. So it might be enough to overcome the defense, keying in on him.
Yeah, you never know. And, like you have to start Jacobs, but you never know. Is Waller going to get a ton of targets? Or are they going to completely take him out? I don't know, because they don't really have enough else at receiver that you're too worried about. Brian Edwards just hasn't shown up yet, which is a little disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, the Jets, Jamison Crowder and Rashad Perriman are out. Again, it looks like the Jets are down to Chris Hogan and my man Braxton Berrios at receiver. I think it's pretty obvious. Oh, by the way, yeah, Le'Veon Bell, he's still not playing either. Would you go near this offense with any length of pole? Maybe Chris Herndon. We talked about him in the start sit, and he said, "No, I'm not doing it with Herndon."
I mean, no, I can't do it with Herndon. I can't do it with any of these Jets. I'm out. I'm out on this offense. For as long as Adam Gase is the head coach, I'm out on this offense. And whatever offense Adam Gase goes to in 2021 or 2022, because he'll get another job for some reason, I'm going to be out on that offense too.
I really hope he doesn't have it. I mean, who could hire? If you hire him next year, any team, like, that's it. I'm out.
That's what the NFL does, man. They look at that one like, wow, look what he did with Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning probably was coaching him, honestly, right? Peyton Manning was probably the coach, and he'll be able to ride that for a long, long time. There'll always be teams that will be like, ooh, Adam Gase. Yeah, so he'll get another chance somewhere. And when he does,
sad, but
derail that offense.
That's sad, but it's probably true. All right, and let's finish with the Colts. Guy that we always feel is underrated is Jack Doyle, and he is in again this week. Paris Campbell is still out. Of course, he's on IR. So I thought that maybe guys like Pascal might step up. Michael Pittman got a bump in targets last week. But is Doyle now a sneaky play that he's in?
No. I think the only thing this really does is, because I know last week a lot of people liked Mo Alley Cox. He had a nice game with Jack Doyle out. I think this just, you can't start Mo Alley Cox again this week. No, I don't like Doyle. I expect them to just run the ball a bunch, just like what we saw last week. A ton of running the game, a ton in the running game. I don't think Rivers will throw much. So, yeah, I have no interest in Jack Doyle.
All right. Not yet, at least. We'll see. The connection will thrive. Unless, if Alley Cox still gets a good amount of targets, even with Doyle back, maybe that says something. But right now, probably best to leave it alone. All right, I think that's all the major injuries. Any last-minute breaking news that you got on the wire here that we need to talk about before everyone sets their lineups and then goes to watch our other videos?
I did not know. No breaking news. Oh, wait, there is just some breaking news. Julio Jones is officially out, so get him out of your lineups. Hopefully you had other options. I think obviously Ridley's a great option. Gage is a great option, but those guys were probably already on rosters after last week. So, yeah, get Julio Jones out. I do want to take some start-sit questions we got. So we got from Wayne Street. He asked, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, or Tampa Bay DST? You want to take this one, or you want me to take this one?
Good question. With defense, it's always tough, right? Because it's all about the matchup. I'm going to start Pittsburgh every week if I have them. That's to me. That's it. I know Tampa has a good matchup, but that's my gut reaction.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh has a great matchup too against Houston. Houston has their offenses look terrible. Deshaun Watson takes lots of sacks. I think Pittsburgh. I agree. Pittsburgh is the play. They've been great this season, and I think they'll continue to be great. And then this is a good one. This is right up your alley. Jordan Reed or Hunter Henry at tight end?
Oh, man. Hunter Henry is kind of hard to mention. I know I've been saying fire up Jordan Reed. Would I start him over Hunter Henry? That's a tough question. I don't think so. I mean, if I got a guy who's a pretty solid top 10 tight end, then no, I'd still go with Henry, because you got to remember too, it's Nick Mullins, not Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. And yeah, they don't really have a lot of other options. So no, I wouldn't bench Henry for him.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta start Henry. Plus, it's Carolina. That defense is terrible. I'm definitely starting Henry over Jordan Reed.
All right. Well, thanks for the questions, guys. Make sure to send them in. Of course, follow our Twitter. It's at Endgame Fantasy. And then hit us up with a subscription right here if you haven't done so already. Hit subscribe, notification bell, so you get these videos as soon as they're released. believe we're going to be live next week, and we'll see. And hopefully we get this up to you as soon as possible. But again, check us out. Start sit every position. Chris got his DraftKings values plays, and we're going to get into some waiver wire action also this week. We're going to have you covered every which way possible every week.